Heavenly Father, as we come together to remember all those who have laid down their lives to enable us to be here today, safe and free, lest we forget. Amen. In war, there isn't a choice of who lives or dies. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what you've done. Anything about you is not a choice in war, if you live or die. And I want to show that today in my family. Two great grandfathers. First one, Tommy Weston. He sat there next to the FA Cup. He played for Aston Villa for 11 years. He won it twice. First time in 1913 before the war. He went to war, got injured, came back, rejoined Villa. He won it in 1920. He survived, not because he played for Aston Villa, not because of who he was. He got shot in the hand. But where was his hand? Was it here? Was it here? Did the hand stop? That fateful bullet that could have been fateful. John Edward Beasley, my other great-grandfather, this is a photo I took at the Menin Gate, who in the 26th of April of 1915, he was in the 1st Warwickshire Regiment, and he was killed on the 26th of April, aged 30, in the second assault on Ypres. This is the photo that I had the honour of taking as I went to remember him at the Menin Gate, as he was never found along with many other people. My great-grandfather, Tommy Weston, left me a great legacy of being able, through his story, to go to Wembley to sing Abide With Me at the FA Cup final because of his story and our following of Aston Villa. And I represented Aston Villa on that day. John's legacy to me is this is all I have. Medals have been lost, uniforms have been lost, even the house where he lived, I looked on Google Maps, is gone. But thank you for the Commonwealth War Graves Commission who do this in honour of all those who have fallen. This is something that I have and that I printed off and I treasure. But it's easy to remember Tommy because he did something so great in people's eyes, but forget John. But John did something even greater. He laid down his life. And the danger is that we could forget, and in the generations to come, that this day gets smaller and smaller. There could be a casualty of being a casualty. His life lives on because we tell the story of what he did in that war and how he lost his life attacking a machine gun post. But this isn't just about individual members. This is also about communities. And we just have to look at the Accrington Pals, who were a Pals brigade who followed the Corps. 1,076 men joined up at the Corps, just ordinary men from ordinary jobs. On the 1st of July 1916, they entered the Battle of the Somme. 720 of those men took to the field. At 7:15, they shook hands one last time to give them great hope and to say, good luck, see you on the other side. At 7:20, the whistle went for them to go over the top. At 7:30, it was clear something had gone so badly wrong. And by 7:50, 584 casualties were out on the field, either dead or hurt. And 303 at the end were confirmed dead within 30 minutes of going over the top. The devastation on the local community. This is a picture of that community. Of the over 1,000 men that joined up, you could say that nearly one from every street joined up. And this is the area, and Accrington is there at the bottom. This is more going in on the streets. You can see all those streets and all those casualties. These are the casualties either dead or hurt. There's not one area in that town that wasn't affected. We move from the families being affected to the communities. The horror of war, the great hope that they had that they were going to go out and change the war and to stop it was suddenly and drastically changed. And the grief of not only those who lost loved ones, friends and family, but those who also had to survive, who had to come back to those they had lost. It not only impacted families, it impacted communities. And we also see those who went out to help. Woodbine Willie, in the great pastor who got the military cross for going out and into the shell holes to find people who were injured, not just from the Allies, but also from the enemy side. And his cheerfulness was a great effect on the ranks. He said in 1914 to the people in his parish, he said, "I cannot say too strongly that I believe that every able-bodied man ought to volunteer for service anywhere. There ought not to be no shirking of that duty. Those who cannot volunteer for military service can pray." This was his call to the men of the parish. Just 4 years later, after crawling through those shell holes and seeing the devastation of war, he wrote this poem. Waste of muscle, waste of brain, waste of patience, waste of pain, waste of manhood, waste of health, waste of beauty, waste of wealth, waste of blood and waste of tears, waste of youth's the most precious years, waste of the ways the saints have trod, waste of glory, waste of God. War. War is such a devastating thing, and we come here to remember those who laid down their lives in that ultimate sacrifice. But where do we go on days like today, remembering those who paid that sacrifice? When we look to Jesus, and we look today, I want to take you to a meeting between Konrad Adenauer and Billy Graham, who met in Berlin in 1963. And Konrad Adenauer was under Hitler. He was stripped of his office and later imprisoned for being against the Nazi regime. He became Chancellor of Western Germany, and he tried to piece back the brokenness of Germany in a fractured world. And Billy Graham writes of his meeting with Konrad Adenauer. He said, "I was invited to have coffee one morning with Konrad Adenauer before he retired as Chancellor of Germany. When I walked in, I expected to meet a tall, stiff, formal man who might even be embarrassed if I brought up the subject of religion. After the greeting, the Chancellor suddenly turned to me and said, 'Mr. Graham, what is the most important thing in the world?' Before I could answer, he answered his own question. He said, 'The resurrection of Jesus Christ. If Jesus Christ is alive, then there is hope in the world. If Jesus Christ is in the grave, then I don't see the slightest glimmer of hope on the horizon.' He then amazed me by saying that he believed that the resurrection of Christ was one of the best attested facts in history." And that's where I want to take you, to Easter, to that Easter weekend, and not to Good Friday. But this is important. Good Friday reminds us of what all those sacrifices that were made in all those wars those people made. Jesus made the ultimate sacrifice to us to bring it back into relationship. And those people made the ultimate sacrifice that we could sit here today. We remember them on their Good Friday. And it's not to Easter Sunday that we look. Easter Sunday is the great hope that we have, the great hope of the resurrection, that we will all be together with Christ in him. This doesn't take away death, because Jesus, as he was raised, still bore the marks of death upon his body. But it is the great hope, and the great hope that we have, that we will all be together. But it's to Holy Saturday that we stand. And this is where we sit today in Holy Saturday. What's past as being Good Friday is there. Easter Sunday and the resurrection is coming. But we sit here today in that time of Holy Saturday. And exactly where Jesus' followers and his family stood as well. And for those who lay down their lives, we know that this day is important, because Christ on this Holy Saturday gave us and them great hope. He didn't just come and love us and to bring us to walk with him along the sunny lanes of Galilee. It brought him to the heart of lying alongside us in the sunless self of the grave. As Christ on that Holy Saturday went to the grave, the grave not only became a place of despair, but a bed of hope. It no longer remains a terminus, but it becomes a tunnel. Pope Gregory the Great, by sharing with our deadness of Christ, says, God has made the abyss into a way. So we come here today to remember those who have given their lives ultimately. But we know in that giving, they have gone to the same place where Christ went as well. Christ changed the grave, not into an ending, but into a place of a tunnel, into the great hope of the resurrection. They are gone to a place where Christ said that he would go to as well. And that gives us the great hope. As we sit here today, as we go to mourn and to remember, we remember that our God, who's not a distant God, but a God who came down to love us and be with us, did exactly the same, laying down his life as these men and women laid down their lives. And that is the great hope. And in our reading, it says, Christ says to his followers, let your light shine. Jesus tells his followers to let their light shine, and especially in a world of darkness, and a world of darkness that we see today with the news that keep coming out. Followers of Christ, let your light shine. Let that hope live on. But today, as we remember those who have fallen, to enable us to be here, and in that great anticipation of the hope that we have for the future, never let the light of these people who enable us to be here be diminished ever. Always come together and let their light shine, lest we forget. Amen.